Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. It's Friday, June 13th. We start off with a bidding war for the naming rights of one of Corpus Christi's largest entertainment venues. Both Thomas J. Henry and Hilliard Law are now offering $2 million per year for the rights over the next 10 years, totaling $20 million. Corpus Christi City Council instructed City Manager Peter Zannoni to accept the highest bid during its regularly scheduled meeting earlier this week. The enhanced proposals come as the city-owned entertainment venue remains without a title sponsor since American Bank opted out of its agreement in April 2024. Corpus Christi ISD's Board of Trustees has unanimously approved a $372.6 million budget for the 2025-26 school year that includes pay raises for all eligible permanent employees. The budget approved during the June 9th meeting features salary increases for teachers, registered nurses, and librarians paid according to the district's teacher's salary schedule following legislative changes approved in House Bill 2. Teachers with 1 to 4 years of experience will receive a $2,500 raise, while those with 5 or more years of experience will receive a $5,000 increase. Despite these salary increases, the district's budgeted deficit increased slightly to $21.8 million from $20 million. Corpus Christi ISD's first day of classes will be Monday, August 11th. Yesterday's storms across South Texas left a total of more than 37,000 power outages reported in Hidalgo County. Outage maps from AEP Texas and Magic Valley Electric Cooperative shows 37,785 outages in the county as of 11:30 p.m. last night, following a severe thunderstorm warning throughout the Rio Grande Valley. An additional 800 outages were reported in Starr, Cameron, and Willacy counties. A notice from AEP Texas said the cities of Farr and Weslaco are the cities most impacted by the outages. The AEP Texas website said power was expected to be restored by this evening. An analysis by the KRGV weather team shows there may have been a possible tornado in the Monte Alto area. Doppler radar estimates that Hidalgo County received up to 4 inches of rain with wind gusts of up to 54 miles per hour recorded in Weslaco. Meanwhile, several streets in Victoria were flooded and fully closed yesterday. Emergency management officials reported to 25 News Now at least 25 stranded vehicles in Victoria County yesterday. The city warned that other roadways were impassable and urged drivers to turn around, don't drown. Victoria ISD had an early dismissal for all campuses yesterday due to the weather and hazardous road conditions. Buses took students home on an early release schedule. And yesterday's heavy rains and flooding have left 4 dead in San Antonio. Texas Public Radio's Brian Kirkpatrick reports.
The National Weather Service reports several vehicles were washed off freeway access roads and into a creek on San Antonio's northeast side before dawn. The fire department reports 4 bodies were recovered from the creek and 2 others are still missing. 10 were rescued. Dozens of other high water rescues were made across the city. Floodwaters even submerged parts of the main lanes of I-35 at times. 6 inches of rain fell at the International Airport, the biggest single rain event in more than a decade. A small twister caused minor damage outside Wimberley, an hour's drive northeast of San Antonio. I'm Brian Kirkpatrick in San Antonio.
McAllen ISD is now considering a proposed $290 million bond election for May 2026 instead of this November after bills limiting when districts could have elections died in the Texas legislature. Superintendent Rene Gutierrez said the original plan was to have a bond election for May 2026, but certain bills in the Texas legislature made the district fast-track the process and possibly hold them this November. Texas House Bill 19 and Senate Bill 1209 proposed that elections for an increase in ad valorem tax rates be held only on November uniform election dates. Those bills, however, died. The University of Texas Rio Grande Valley was awarded over $18 million in grant money to help fund the research efforts at the RGV Center for Cancer Health Disparities. The $18.4 million was awarded by the National Institutes of Health to help the center address health issues prevalent in the valley. The award was announced yesterday morning at the UTRGV School of Medicine, where local officials gathered for the ceremony. An emergency evacuation training exercise will be held this afternoon in partnership with the City of Corpus Christi, Texas Division of Emergency Management, and local agencies. The drill will focus on how participants use their training and skills during mock exercises, including hurricanes. The public is invited to participate as volunteers and will act as evacuees needing transportation to safe locations throughout the state. The public, including people with pets, are encouraged to participate. Animals must be on a leash, in a crate, or kennel. If you are interested in participating, join the emergency management team at 2 p.m. today at Corpus Christi Gym at 3202 Cabanas Parkway. The city of Alamo is seeking public input from residents and business owners. Alamo has a survey to help them with a 10-year comprehensive plan to focus on the future of the city. This is the first time Alamo has taken part in a study like this. The survey asks residents to rank projects from most needed to projects that can wait. A draft of the plan will be presented at a city council meeting set for Tuesday. The survey will remain open for input from those who work and live in the city. In state news, San Antonio Congressman Tony Gonzalez joined 5 other Republican representatives in a letter urging Immigration and Customs Enforcement to prioritize deporting migrants charged with violent crimes. Texas Public Radio's Jerry Clayton has more.
The letter was sent to Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons. The Republicans said in the letter that although they agree that violent offenders should be deported, they're concerned that widespread immigration raids on people who do not constitute an immediate threat to public safety might stretch the agency's resources too far. Some Republicans have been uncomfortable with the Trump administration's immigration policy, which has seen indiscriminate raids in which nonviolent migrants have been arrested, sometimes after they showed up for court proceedings. Despite the letter to ICE, Gonzalez, who's chair of the GOP Congressional Hispanic Conference, recently praised Trump for deploying the National Guard in Los Angeles as ICE immigration raids ramp up. I'm Jerry Clayton in San Antonio.
The Army says it's taking immediate action to implement President Trump's decision to restore the traditional names of 7 bases. The names were initially changed in 2023 after Congress banned base names with ties to the Confederacy. The Trump administration found a way to sidestep the law. Dan Katz of the American Homefront Project has reaction from Fort Cavazos, Texas, which is returning to its former name of Fort Hood.
While it would be illegal under federal law to name a military base once again after Confederate General John Bell Hood, it's not illegal to name it after a service member with the same last name. In this case, World War I Colonel Robert B. Hood.
They found some people with similar names, so that's how they worked around it.
That's Lawrence Romo, a member of the federal commission that recommended renaming Fort Hood to Fort Cavazos in 2022. That came after Congress passed a law saying military assets could no longer refer to the Confederacy or anyone who served in it. Romo says the Trump administration is now sidestepping that law by renaming the base for the World War I Hood.
There was no movement to rename the base. Nobody ever told me that they want to rename it back to Fort Hood. I can't think of a single person that's telling me we should rename it back to Fort Hood.
The Fort Cavazos name honors Richard Cavazos, a Vietnam and Korean War veteran who once commanded the base. He was also the Army's first Latino 4-star general and a Medal of Honor recipient. Romo says the commission's work was based on merit and local community input. Cavazos is part of a storied Texas family with a history of military service. To them, the name change is an insult.
I think it's really a backhanded way to change the name from Cavazos to Hood for someone that didn't have the same level of achievements and bravery. And it's just so unpatriotic the way I see it.
That's Ramiro Cavazos, a cousin of the late Richard Cavazos. He says his family wasn't consulted in the process. 2 years after the Army held a celebration for them.
We had over 150 Cavazos family members there, many of them who have served our country. And to do this in this manner is just really very mean-spirited. But we'll continue to move forward and be proud Americans and hope for a better day.
The Pentagon did not respond to our request for an interview, but President Trump explained his decision during a recent speech at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, which along with Fort Benning, Georgia, was already renamed earlier this year.
We won a lot of battles out of those forts. It's no time to change. And I'm superstitious. You know, I like to keep it going, right? I'm very superstitious. We want to keep it going.
Rivka Maislish is a senior research analyst with the Southern Poverty Law Center. She says she wasn't surprised by the move and that it fits into a pattern.
Including military bases named after people who literally made war against the United States of America. You know, I always say, like, what other country has military bases named after people who made war against it? But there's a history there. It's a history of a propaganda campaign to erase the true history of the Civil War and establish white supremacy through other means.
Maislish says she doesn't want to denigrate the service of the people with the same last names as the Confederate generals, but she questions if the new base names really honor them.
And I think it's insulting to the names of the people who have no association with traitors or white supremacists that now their name is being used to recall the memory of traitors and white supremacists.
The Army said in a statement that the name changes of the 7 bases will take effect immediately. I'm Dan Katz in San Antonio.
And in sports, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley Athletic Department announced a new extension with Derek Matlock that will keep him as head coach of the baseball team through 2030. The Vaqueros finished the 2025 season with a 36-18 record, the best since he took over the program back in 2017. UTRGV also secured a share of the Southland Conference regular season title in the process. The 22 conference wins on the year set a new program record, too. Under Matlock's leadership, Vaqueros players reached significant individual heights as well, one of the most significant being Armani Raygoza, who took home Southland Conference Player of the Year. Matlock has posted a winning record for 7 consecutive seasons and was named Coach of the Year in 2019. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. And we'd like to wish a happy Father's Day to all the dads and father figures celebrating this weekend. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.